So you want to know what the best faction is in the Cycle Frontier to level up? Well, follow me, and I'll show you that exact faction. There is two main things to consider when trying to figure out which faction is really best for you. There's the shop, so which weapons you're going to be able to buy throughout the time you're leveling up that faction. And then there's the faction and event, which is one of the main things that you have to look forward to, so you want it to be right. Now, before we touch on those two subjects, I actually wanted to mention sort of a minor one, but a lot of people actually don't know this, which is the difference between missions and jobs. Basically, to put it simply, you can think of missions as part of a basically very minor outcast campaign. You can only do these missions one time, and they give you the faction scripts, they give you money, and they give you the faction points. That is basically the exact same as jobs. Jobs give you the money, the points, all that good stuff, but without leveling up towards any campaign. So you can kind of think of missions as important, do this to unlock the end event for that faction you're trying to level up, and jobs are just kind of something minor out there if you ever need extra cash. Hey, do me, I'm a job. So to kick off those two main important topics, we're going to be talking about the shop and the weapons you get. So for Korlov, he's basically known as a juggernaut faction. He sells weapons that specialize in damage, but they're very heavy. They penalize your movement for damage. So if you're into that whole juggernaut, I'm going to do a lot of damage to you after I sneak up on you because I'm so slow, then choose Korlov. Then moving on to Osiris, you can basically think of him as the complete opposite of Korolev. He specializes in speed and really good movement. So his weapons are going to be really good for pushing. You know, if somebody's healing, you can push them fast, get that damage in, but it does penalize damage because of that speed and movement, but not much. He still has some of the best weapons in the game, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later. Lastly, you have ICA. You can think of her as kind of the middleman. She sells weapons that do not drop off in damage, do not drop off in speed, nor do they excel in either of those two things. She is right in the middle, kind of that perfect combination. You can think of her as kind of having that LMG that isn't super hammy, but still gets that damage output that you want. Now to conclude this topic, if you're one of those people right now that are pretty low level and you're kind of down bad on money, I'd probably go with Osiris, at least until you level him up till you get the Mana Core, which is the absolute best beginning weapon right now for the price especially. It's 9k, you unlock it at level 5 for his faction, and it's amazing. Now if you're one of those people that have a lot more money in your bank, either if it's you bought a pack or you're just absolutely goated, well then you should probably go with ICA, because her first unlockable weapon is the ICA guarantee, and this is pretty much, it's quite a lot better than the Mana Core, but it's 20k more, and it also takes 2 more levels than the Osiris weapon does. Now with Korlov, if you just can't see yourself living without those heavy weapons, go with Korlov. Now for the second most important topic, which is the faction and event. Now this is actually one of the most important to me because it's what you're looking forward to the entire time you're doing these missions for that faction. It's the end game, you know, what you're actually getting the loot for. So for Korlov, you get a huge mining rig that will come down from the sky, and you get basically ores out of it that you can then go and sell for more money. For Osiris, you get these tiny oil pumps that drop from the sky, and you can get oil from the ground, and then you sell that for almost the same amount of money as Korlov gets you, but it's not as much money, but it's also not as much risk, as many people don't see this tiny little thing dropping from the sky, and as many people don't go for it. Then for Osiris, you have the dungeons. Now if you're going to do the dungeons, I would recommend at least a 3-man squad, because they are extremely hard, but they give you the most loot. So if you're this hardcore solo, and you just know that you're not going to be able to get a squad for these dungeons, then I would probably recommend going for one of the other two. So guys, that should be about all the information that you need to figure out which faction is best for you in the Cycle Frontier. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. I would truly appreciate it. Check out my other videos, as I will be pushing out as many as I can for the Cycle Frontier. I'm absolutely loving this game. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.